Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today we're here with Cory Stevens, and we did some UBO testing today, just kind of messing around a little bit. I've done UBO testing with him and Paul Landsberg before, and I actually filmed a video on that, so if you want to check it out, you should. But anyways, today we're doing, well, I guess tomorrow, we're doing artificially insemination?
Yep.
Something like that. Some people say AI or II, whatever.
Yeah,
We're just gonna...
Could be artificial insemination, could be instrumental insemination. It means the same thing.
Yeah, so we're just gonna say whatever. Anyways, so before we do all of the fun stuff, what do we have to do like right now to prepare for that?
We got to catch drones. So the past week or so, they've been really flying about 3:45 p.m. or so. As it gets hotter later in the season, they'll start to fly later. So we're gonna catch as much as we can about 3:45. We'll put little excluders on the entrances, and then they'll come back from their flights. So they've cleared their bowels, they're not poopy, which is how we want them.
Yeah.
And we'll be catching as many as we can here in just a little bit, and then extracting.
So how many are you looking to like catch?
That's a good question. Here's the cages I use.
All right, take 100. We're gonna get back to what
We're catching drones coming back from them trying to mating flights basically, and we'll catch them and put them in these cages. So if we accidentally get a worker in there, they can get out through the excluder.
Okay, sure.
And we'll take them inside and turn them loose in a flight cage, give them some honey and some water, and then I'll probably be sitting there for hours and hours extracting germplasm, if you will, and then we'll gas the queens too, because they have to have 2 CO2 treatments, and then we'll inseminate them tomorrow.
Okay.
And it works out perfectly because the weather's not bad now.
Yeah.
Drones ought to be flying, and then tomorrow the weather's not
Crappy.
so good. Yeah, exactly. We'll be stuck inside, so it'll work out. And hopefully we've got your virgin queens, and we'll have drones that are Harbo tested out of these colonies, so they have measurable levels of VSH, and a blend of that, it should give you increased mite resistance. So hopefully it's a good blend. We'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
If they're not good, what you want to do is we'll inseminate them, put them out, graft a lot of queens from them, and then just pick from the best. Some of them, it may not mix well, they may be crabby, they may, who knows what.
Yeah.
And then you'll just keep repeating that process. And you should have bees that have a high measurable resistance to Varroa, and ideally are your favorites and something you want to keep and are productive too. So
yeah, well, see how that goes.
We'll see.
Let's go ahead and start catching some drones.
So to catch these drones, some people will just take an excluder and lay it on the entrance. That works just fine. I hadn't ever seen anyone do that until I bought a bunch of these things already, so I've already got them. It's just a piece of queen excluder with a wood binding on it. Nothing fancy. And whenever we want to catch drones, this is one that tested really high, has a good Harbo score. We just put them on the entrance like this. And, you know, sometimes I'll leave one side open a little bit to let more drones get out if there's new ones that are trying to get out. But the point is to keep the ones that are coming back that have cleared their bowels. We don't want them to get inside, you know, we want to hold them at the entrance a bit. So you're already seeing a couple come in, and they're being shy. There's one. But whenever we really have peak, whenever the drones are really flying, which we should see in the next 30 minutes, there's just handfuls of them on these big colonies. So
we'll just start catching?
Catch as many as we can. Yep.
Okay, so Cory walked away and trusted me with his bees, I guess. So I'm gonna kind of explain what we're doing here today. Now, I haven't done this very many times. I've watched it be done. My dad's done it before, but I'm kind of trying it out for the first time. So this is what the cages look like. I believe Cory showed it a little bit, but he said he wants to get at least 3 of these cages just packed full, and that can usually do about a dozen queens. So you have to have a ton of drones for this. So that's why we're out here with a couple people catching drones today. But there's basically just a little cork that fits right here, and you just keep your finger over it. And then as you catch the drones, you just put them in there, close it with your finger, and then just doing that until these are pretty much full. So we've got a couple hives with these excluders on them, and we're just gonna kind of walk back and forth, catch as many as we can off of one hive, and then move down to the next one and catch as many as we can on that one, and then we'll come back. And by that point, most of the drones have started to fill up here. So if you wanna get close, Mom, you can see. Now, a lot of the workers are still out here, so you're gonna have to be careful about not getting stung by a worker. But like a lot of drones are out right now. I mean, this girl just walked up on my finger. So it basically just blocks the drones from getting in. So now I'm just gonna go in and pick them up. Now, with a lot of workers around like this, it's more likely that you're gonna get stung just because there's more workers, but drones don't sting, so there's no worry about that. So you can just kind of pick them up anywhere and then put them in that little hole, and then they're just in here, stuck in there. So we're just gonna keep going through, grabbing as many as we can, trying to fill up some of these cages. I know Cory said he's gotten good to the point where he can grab a couple at a time. I'm not quite there, but it's pretty quick. So the drones kind of disappear pretty fast, so that's why it's probably a good idea to have a couple hives going with queen excluders on them. So we're just gonna keep doing this for a little while, see how many we can get, and then we'll call it good. So it's pretty easy. I think it's just a little bit of time, and it's a little hot outside. I know Cory said it was just a little bit early. It's close to 4 o'clock right now, but I think we're just barely a little early right now because it is pretty hot outside. So I think in the next couple minutes it'll probably get a little crazy. But anyways, we're just gonna keep doing this until we've got a few of these cages full.
Okay, Cory, so we finished capturing our drones.
Yep, we finished catching drones. We got them in a flight cage here. I'm getting all my instrumentation set up so we can start extracting. But I just give them a little honey, which they've eaten a lot of it already, because as soon as they come home, they're used to being fed by the workers. If you don't keep them, they don't have to be super warm, but don't chill them, obviously, and then give them some water and a little bit of honey. That way they're fresh. They'll last longer. And I don't bank them. It seems like if you've got a good bank, you can keep them reasonably fresh, but I've found it's just best whenever you catch, just plan on staying up late that night and just get a bunch of them done, because they don't improve with age. We're gonna give these queens a CO2 treatment. So we'll fill this bag with CO2, and then they'll just go motionless and go to sleep, basically. And what this does, in the past, whenever they were messing with instrumental insemination, they found that some of them were slow to lay or didn't want to lay quickly enough, but they found that if they CO2 treated them, that it stimulated oviposition, that they would start laying eggs sooner. So standard practice is either 2 CO2 treatments. One will be during the procedure, and one will either be before or after. It just depends. A lot of times I'll do it after, sometimes I'll do it before if I'm not able to do it the day after. So somebody have a timer. Like, it doesn't have to be exact, but like, can you tell me when we hit 2 minutes? Everybody's out. Good fun. So we'll let them sit in this a little bit, and then we'll just take them out and put them back in the incubator, and then they'll wake back up. But so it serves multiple purposes. It gets them to start egg laying or start oviposition, but also whenever you're doing the procedure, obviously you don't want them wiggling around. So that's one treatment. They'll be asleep during the procedure, and then you can clip them, tag them, and they're not running all over the place. So now we are extracting the drones. Got a little bit of a start here. You can usually tell right away, some of them like that, whenever you decapitate them, they start to avert. And those are always, it seems like, the more mature ones. And you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see on that camera really well, that's kind of a off-white color. That's what we're after. And it takes a lot of them. It takes a while. And like I said before, that's my least favorite part of this. It's just quite time consuming. The actual inseminations does not take that long, really. But this, on the other hand, and we're dealing in microliters here, so it's a small quantity goes a long way, really. Good find.
Yeah.
All right, we've got her in, I guess it's a half-gallon mason jar here. I usually let them fly around a little bit because sometimes they need to poop, and we don't want that happening while she's asleep. So she didn't go, but sometimes they don't need to. So we'll see. And then I put her in a, let me grab that. I put her in a backup tube first. She'll go in head first. And then I'll put her in the insemination holding tube. She'll back into that. I turn my gas on just a little bit here. We've got CO2 piped in so that she goes to sleep very quickly. Okay. Let me flush some of this saline out of the tip, just to keep everything moist, and we don't want that drying out in the tip. And then I've got to find her stinger with these pressure grips. Sometimes it's down in there and it's more difficult. It looks like she's sticking hers out, so that makes it a little easier on me. Okay. It's a delicate process here. If you jerk or bang something, like, you could really damage her, so have to be really cautious. Fine surgical maneuvers here. Okay, we'll see if we got her on the valve fold. Looks like it. 3, 4, 5, 6 microliters, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just to make sure she gets 10, I usually go a little bit past 10, like up to 11, and then I'll back it up and take the pressure off of it. All right. That part went well. What I like to do next is, it cleans out the tip and kind of flushes her out too, is just grab some saline into the end of this and just kind of flush her out and clean her up so there's no residue that dries and is all crusty. Okay. Dry her off here, and I'm gonna shut off my CO2. And we'll take her out of the tube here. And we want to clip her because we don't want her flying off. That kind of defeats the point of instrumental insemination. Give her a clip, and she gets a cool number disc, which makes her worth exponentially more. And this is one of Natalie's queens that we inseminated with drones out of my stock that tested very high for VSH. So it should add a great deal of mite resistance to these queens and their daughters. Number 17. I usually let her sit for just a little bit, let that glue dry, and then we'll put her back in a cage with her attendants. And then she'll go back to Natalie's apiary, and they hopefully have a good introduction with these. So it'll be good.
Yeah. Okay, so we just got back from Cory's, and the first thing that we had to do before we could do anything else was put these queens in. So I'm going to show you what kind of setup we got going on over here. Now, I do just want to say that going down to Cory's is always a really good time, and just he's a really nice guy, and I'm really glad we had the opportunity to do that. So it was just a lot of fun and a really, really cool experience. And now I'm questioning everything I'm doing because I'm like, that was really cool to do. But anyways, so what I'm doing here is I just have a queenless hive. So actually, we had some, when it comes to inseminating, you want your virgins to be about 10 days old. I know he said he's done some that were over that a little bit, just a couple days. But so what we did was we grafted and we lined it up perfectly to when we were going to go visit Cory. And then once they emerge out of their cell, we put them into those cages, and then we put them on top of this hive here, because this hive is actually queenless. There were two hives right here, but we combined them together, and they're both queenless. That way we could put those virgins on top of the hive in their cells. So I think we had 20 or so in there, and that just makes it to where they can kind of take care of them, and they'll make it to that 10-day spot. So anyways, this is that exact same hive here. So what we're gonna do is I'm keeping 2 lids on here. This wasn't my idea, this was my dad's idea, so if you think it's dumb, blame him, like usual. If there's anything, just blame him. But anyways, I'm keeping 2 on here just for like a little bit more insulation to keep them cool. Hopefully it kind of helps them out a little bit. And then I've got, you can use just a normal medium or shallow super. This is just a pretty big feeder shim that I have. That way the queens can go in here. So you can see they're kind of on top of them a little bit. I know some, when they do this, that they'll just cover everything. It'll cover the whole cell and you can't see the cell at all, but ours don't seem to do that. I don't really know why, but anyways, so there's a couple in here that we didn't inseminate. We only have, I think, 4 of them. Now this queen looks like she might be dead. I think so. Oh nope, she's alive. Put her back in there. So like her attendants died, so she's gonna need some more attendants here, which I'll do that soon. But then these ones over here, I think it's these 4, no, it's these 4, are the inseminated ones. So they're marked up and ready to go. We're gonna put them into hives tomorrow. So I'm gonna do a separate video on that, just showing and explaining how we're gonna introduce them. I know Cory has some talks, and I'm sure if you ask him, he'll just tell you the best way to kind of introduce these. So we're gonna give it a shot, see how it goes, but that's gonna be another video because that's not gonna happen today. We're gonna do that hopefully tomorrow, but we're gonna get them in as soon as we can. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Again, thanks to Cory for letting us come down and just spend a couple days with him and learn a lot. So it's a lot of fun. Hopefully you learned a little something on this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask Cory because I probably don't know the answer to them. But anyway, thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.